Steel Curtain Network.
Touchdown! Touchdown para Calvin Austin. El Monte Washington es arma. ¿Quién más? ¿Quién más? DJ Watt.
What's going on, Steeler fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Steelers Preview. I'm Jeff Hartman, joined by Bryan Davis and Dave Schofield. Bryan, what's up?
I am doing fantastic, Jeff. You didn't ask, but you asked what's up, and I'm just telling you I'm fantastic. But it's a great day. It's always a great day to be a Steelers fan. Doesn't matter what the record is. But I've got to tell you, I'm a little disillusioned. And the reason I'm disillusioned is I feel like with power rankings, the national media, they're coming aboard the Steeler train, and I don't want them. Go away.
Dave, what's up?
Not much. I know some people on YouTube might not be able to see Jeff right now, but that's okay. He's dropping out to come back because he was a little bit frozen, but I hope they can hear him. I could hear him great. I'm excited to get back to Steelers football this week, getting back into a routine, only to get that routine to be completely chucked out the window when it comes to next week. But we'll worry about next week, and let's just enjoy a regular scheduled week for a 1 p.m. game when God intended NFL football to be played.
Yeah, the schedule's about to get all sorts of jacked up. A Thursday night, Sunday night right after that. It's going to be wild, but the Steelers have earned some of that. So let's talk about this upcoming game. Bryan, what's your take about how you think the Steelers are going to come off the bye? I'm always cautious with maybe they come out sluggish, slow to start. What's your take?
I'm really worried about this game, and we will find out. It's simple, though. You're going to find out if they're better than the hype and if they deserve any hype, because they're, like I said at the beginning of the show, they are starting to get hype. So I'm nervous that they come out slow. I just have that irksome feeling with Myles Garrett. Anything can happen. Somebody could get dismembered in this game when you've got Myles Garrett there. There could be some kind of assault, but with that being said, there you go. With that, I just feel like if they are who I think they are, then they're going to be fine. You're going to find out right away at the end of this game whether they're worth that ranking, whether it's the Cleveland Browns or not, because Cleveland Browns, as bad as they are, they play teams tough.
Yeah. Dave, what do you think about the Steelers coming out of the bye week?
Well, they've won 8 in a row, so that's a good thing to look at. That they've generally done a nice job there, and a lot of times they've had to go on the road. I mean, they've gone on the road 3 of the last 4 games coming out of the bye. So they've managed to prepare well. But the Steelers have only played 1 game at Acrisure this year. They didn't play all that great in that game. Kind of had some mistakes in there that cost them a chance at things, I guess would be the best way to say it. So to say, if you've listened to any of my other shows this week, I'm kind of nervous about this one. I would much rather get excited about a game that the Steelers aren't supposed to win, and have confidence in them. Yeah, they can get it done. Then, oh great, this is the one that they're supposed to get. I mean, the Browns are already 0-2 in the division. The Steelers haven't played a division game yet. Yes, they're way ahead in the standings, but just because the rest of the division stinks doesn't automatically make you a good team.
I agree with what you guys said there, and there is always a little bit of concern every time they come out of a bye that they're going to come out sluggish. Now, let's compound the question. Let me ask you, Bryan, Steeler fans are not going to give any sympathy to Cleveland after what they had to endure at the end of last season. But, Bryan, how bad do you think the NFL screwed them over by saying you got to go to London? You're going to come back. You don't get a bye week. You're going to play a team coming off a bye, and you don't host them. You have to be on the road again. That's a very daunting task, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. But I mean, I think Dave would probably back this up. I think that they refused the bye, where the Steelers accepted the bye. They give you the option when you're going to London or England or wherever overseas, and if you do that, you do get the opportunity. So as much as at least they didn't put them on Thursday night,
Right, yeah.
that would have really sucked. But no, Steelers fans won't have sympathy because that was an egregious schedule last year. And it where we thought that, hey, they could play through it. They didn't have the personnel, and they didn't have the mindset, and they didn't have the intestinal fortitude to deal with that schedule this year. I would actually say that if they're healthy, this team would be able to handle that schedule. The Steelers would be able to handle that schedule. But back to the Cleveland Browns, if they went ahead and refused it, I'm sure they were offered it, because teams are offered. I think, Dave, you could back me up on this.
Well, no, Art Rooney II said
that's what I was coming in to say.
He said that the Steelers had no option. They were told your bye week is week 5.
I don't know.
That's what he said.
I don't know that he said that they were told. Let's just say this. This is the way he might have said that exactly, Jeff. I can't remember for sure. But this is the way I've been kind of processing it in my mind. And that is, the Steelers were saying, no, we don't need our bye week there. We'd rather have it later in the season. And the NFL said, no, take it now. And the Steelers said, okay. I think the only way they don't give it to you coming in back from an international game is if you flat up throw a fit about it. So the Steelers weren't going to be that disagreeable with it. Maybe the Browns were. Who knows? And if they were, they're like, well, if you're going to be like that, we'll put you on the road against the team coming off their bye. I don't know that they actually did that or not, but that's just kind of the way my mind works. But I think if the Steelers would have pushed really, really hard, they could have not had their bye then. But I don't. Are the Steelers a team that's going to be that insistent when it comes to those kind of things with the NFL? I don't think they are. So I did hear, like what Jeff said, is that the Steelers didn't welcome it. They were willing to take a bye later on in the season, but the NFL was like, "No, we like to give it to you coming home from there."
If you had a chance to listen to bad language the other day, guys, I'm sure you did.
I did.
My stuff. I don't listen to yours. That Buffalo game after the bye in 2001, then they had about 14 straight games after that, and they won 13-3.
Yeah.
So, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, September 11th was in there too. So they went over 3 weeks without a game. I think it was like 21 days without a game back then. And that was a long bye, and they crushed the Bills after that bye. Of course, that's a completely different team. It was a Bill Cowher-led team, but it's not one of those things where the bye, if it's early, kills you. And you've got to understand, back in 2001, I believe it was the San Diego Chargers that had week 1 off. They had a bye in week 1, and that was their bye.
The Chargers, you're right. They were either week 1 or week 17. I can't remember which one it was.
I think
because I only knew it because I remember that's when I was the biggest into fantasy football was back then, and you had to look at it in that regard.
The Texans were a year away, so they had 31 teams, and everybody had to have a bye, and that's why they had the early bye back then. But I know I'm going off course, but that bye doesn't kill you.
No, I don't think it kills you. I do think, when Dave, just to reiterate what you said, the way I construed Art Rooney's message was the Steelers said, well, we really don't want the bye in week 5. And the NFL's like, yeah, you're going to have the bye in week 5. And they're like, fine, I guess that's fine. But who knows what happens. I know I've talked to some other people from other areas, and they say that the NFL is not always willing to work with teams, that they say, here, you're going to be traveling. This is your bye week. So who knows? Unless you're behind closed doors, we're really all just speculating. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because not only that, but you throw in the fact that they have a rookie quarterback who's going to have his second career start, and it's going to be at Acrisure Stadium. That's going to make things really dynamic, and we'll talk about that. But I want to talk about the injuries first. It's what we always do on this show. We want to get injuries for both sides. The Steelers injury report I thought was pretty darn good. But Dave, do you have that in front of you?
Yes, I do. And I'm assuming you don't really care about the non-injury, the rest players.
Good. Just get the rest players out of the way, and then we'll talk about actual injured players.
Metcalf rested today. He was the new player on Thursday. Then you had T.J. Watt rested yesterday, Wednesday, but was full today. Same with Darius Slay. Cam Hayward was limited yesterday. Didn't practice today, all because of rest. Then you had the two players that haven't practiced the last 2 days, Ramsey and Austin. Although Ramsey has been out there and stretching and doing things that's visible on the field with his teammates, although he technically did not practice at all for the last 2 days. But Calvin Austin, I don't think they've had a picture of him out there at all. So that was that. Ben Skoranek had an illness where he was limited on Wednesday, but was back to full today. And the good news is, even though Alex Highsmith was limited yesterday, he was full today. Jalen Warren was full today, both yesterday and today, and so was Joey Porter Jr. Yesterday and today, full.
Okay, Bryan, what are your thoughts on that?
You know what? You get guys back. You have guys that are playing at full, so that's great. You know, Skoranek, I don't worry about a guy that's sick on Thursday, unless he's got the super flu. And, you know, I don't really worry about that. I figure he'll be back and fine. And, you know, like under the weather, Ben Skoranek actually is appealing to me because I bet you he's surly when he's not feeling well. So I think he'd be even more of a chaos maker on special teams. The Joey Porter Jr. getting him back, fantastic. You said Highsmith was full, right?
Yes.
Today. Yes.
Okay. And that's great because, you know, you had guys not there. The big concern is Calvin Austin III. I don't think you're going to see him.
I don't think you're going to see Jalen Ramsey either. I would love for him to be back, but I think that if the Steelers they're playing their cards, you see what they've done so far this season, they're probably thinking, let's err on the side of caution. Let's get him back maybe week 7, and if we give him an extra mini bye, then let's shoot for week 8 when it's fully healthy and he's good. We saw with Joey Porter Jr., everything was, fine, and then he doesn't play for the first 4 weeks. So after the week 1, obviously. But Dave, what's your take on Jalen?
Yeah, if I were to predict it right now, I would say Calvin Austin misses this game and the next game. But Jalen Ramsey, by being out there and stretching and stuff, there's a chance he could play on Thursday, not a week from today.
Yeah.
If he doesn't play Sunday. So
well, and Saturday's the day, right, Dave? Where if they want to put Calvin Austin on IR, that's typically when it would happen, wouldn't it?
Yes, you would. Unless you needed the roster spot to have someone else in. But my goodness, there's still only 52 people on their roster, so you don't need to do that yet. So that if you do it by Saturday, because if you wait, then that game doesn't count. You would have to go 4 more games. We'll see if that's what he needs or not.
Yeah, and that was something that was speculated upon, but I don't know. Other than that, I think it's a good injury report. I mean, when people were debating, okay, what are you going to do with Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig when he comes? That's a good problem to have. When you're talking about 2 quality players, then you're trying to figure a way to work everything out between T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Nick Herbig. I think this is a good injury report. Bryan, any other thoughts on that before we go to the Brown side?
No, I agree with you guys. I would love to see Jalen, but as you said, good injury report. It could be worse.
All right, Dave, any other final thoughts before we go to Cleveland?
Oh no, I'm on to Cleveland.
Let's go. Do it.
Okay, well, like Joel Petonio was limited yesterday, resting that, but it was full today, so that's no big deal. A couple of these are interesting people that have been limited both days. Like wide receiver Malachi Corley has been limited Wednesday and Thursday with a groin. Defensive tackle Malik Collins, but that was vet rest again. Grant Delpit with an ankle he's been full both days, so it wasn't that. Myles Garrett's been limited both days with an ankle, but I don't think that's really anything, or else you'd be hearing more about it. Mike Hall Jr., defensive tackle, limited with both days with the knee. Shelby Harris is a vet resting / knee, where he didn't practice Wednesday and was limited on Thursday. Usually, I don't know, those resting vet / injury thing. Usually, you think is not a big deal until it was with the Steelers. Let's see, what else do we have here? Tackle KT Leviston with a calf was limited both days. Quarterback Greg Newsome was on there Wednesday, being limited. And Njoku is listed as a knee, but he was full both days. Denzel Ward what was limited with a hip Wednesday, but he was back to full. And then here's one that was new today. Safety DeMonte KZ didn't practice today due to an illness.
Okay.
But the last one was there was another, but there was Raheem Sanders with a knee, but he was a full participant. I don't know why he was added. But I think KZ, I don't know if it was due to injury or not. I don't think it was due to injury. He was inactive last week anyway.
I forgot he was on the team.
Yeah.
There goes Dave's trivia.
No. I've got something different this time.
All right, Brian, go ahead. What do you think about the Browns?
Nothing here to see, folks. Move along.
Okay, Dave.
Yeah, because even the guys are they're limited for a couple days. They're coming back from Europe. My goodness. I'm surprised they had so many people practicing on Wednesday when they were coming back. I'm surprised they just didn't give them some more rest there. So I don't really know that there's going to be anything significant injury wise from them.
I agree. And this is a game that, Steelers fans will say Steelers just got to focus on the Steelers and not necessarily the Browns. So let's switch gears now and talk about what we think needs to happen for the Steelers to win. Let's start on offense. Brian, what would be a key to victory for you on the offensive side of the football?
Same old story here, but I'm going to throw in a little bit of a curveball, finding an adequate replacement for Calvin Austin III. Now, you might say that, wait a second, Calvin Austin doesn't do much. He does a lot more than you think he does. And when he's out there, he adds an extra wrinkle. I'm almost wondering if, because, of course, you're going to see more of Roman Wilson and more of Scotty Miller. That was said by Mike Tomlin on his press conference. But in the back of my head, I'm wondering if it's Jonnu Smith will get some of those reps there. I know they're a completely different animal, a completely different body, way different in style. But we always talked about, since they acquired Jonnu, was the fact that he goes out wide a good bit. So I'm wondering if they're going to have some special packages and special wrinkles. And the nice thing about there's no nice thing about an injury, but at least they knew about it going into the bye, and they knew deep down that they weren't getting Calvin Austin back. Now, let's go to the run game. Of course, you need a run game to be able to survive. On defense, don't get cute. Just be smart. You can beat them. You can beat this team.
We'll get to the defense, Brian. We go around twice.
Oh, was that just offense?
Yeah. Just offense.
Call me butter. I was on a roll, Jeff.
You were on a roll, and I was like, wait, why is he going to defense? What's he doing? All right, so hold on to that thought for defense. Yeah. Dave, offense, where are you going?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just distracted by Brian's glorious hair. That's my big.
He's giving off some serious brotherly love vibes, and if you followed the WWF, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You just need the red face, Brian, and you've got it.
Challenge accepted.
All right, you know what I'm going to say about the offense. That's why, I've written about it. I've talked about it. You're probably tired of hearing about it. It's really about the offensive line. I'm even going to go a little bit more specific. I think it's a huge game for Broderick Jones because of going up against Myles Garrett. So to me, what the Steelers can do offensively is going to come down to what their offensive line will allow them to do offensively. Whether it's run, whether it's pass, whether it's having to do quick passes, whether you can play action, all that stuff, it's going to come down to what your offensive line allows you to do. Cleveland's defensive front is legit. My goodness, they're number 1 against the run. They're number 4 against the pass. Their defense is really something. But you know what they stink at as a defense? Surrendering points. Other than that, they're good in all the other categories.
Not good in third downs either, though, Dave. Third down and red zone.
I didn't do third downs. I kind of saved that one for you.
Those two, they suck.
Yeah. So that's and honestly, that makes sense of why you give up a bunch of points if you can't make stops, because they also aren't taking the ball away either. You either got to stop a team on third down or take the ball away. So, and what's even better is when you can do both. But so yeah, offensive line. Did you get to check out that graphic that Jeremy Betts shared earlier today? It was Brian. I'm trying to. I want to get it exactly, but it was about being left on an island as a tackle versus win rate. And believe it or not, Broderick Jones was in the upper right quadrant, which is where you would want someone to be. It was kind of surprising, probably for people, is that when he's left on an island with the win rate that he can get.
I'm looking at it now. That's interesting.
Yeah. So to me, I think that's going to be a huge matchup. I think they're going to try to help out there, but at the same time, a week off to get ready for it. I will tell you this. I think Broderick Jones, it's going to either be this dude comes out and completely beasts out because he's going up against Myles Garrett, or he's going to, fold like a cheap lawn chair. It's going to be one. It's probably going to be one or the other. Is what I'm thinking. And honest, I'm really in the team of Broderick Jones is going to step up and show the potential that he has when he has to go against the best competition that he's seen.
I don't think Broderick Jones is going to have a good game. I think the Steelers are going to do two things. First, it's all going to be based on running the ball. If they can run the football in this game, it's over. I swear to you, it is over if they can consistently run the ball. They're going to put Spencer Anderson and Darnell Washington on one side of the line again, just like they did against Minnesota, and they're going to say, you got to stop it. And we're going to run it until you stop it. And I wouldn't be shocked, too. The second thing is if they do exactly what teams are doing with TJ Watt. Oh, you're on this side? We're running on that side. Myles Garrett's on that side? We're running on this side. I think they really do want to establish the run in this game. I think it's paramount for everything they want to do. I think that's a huge part of this. Brian, what do you want to say?
Is Broderick Jones suffering from Dan Moore Jr. syndrome, where he's not really as bad as what the fans think because they go ahead and labeled him way too early? And
because he started off really bad this year, and he's gotten better every game. Yeah, and you're right.
But I think it's like it's not fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you, or backwards. I just screwed that whole thing up. But anyways, it's just like all right, you're not going to fool me at all. You suck, and that's it, Broderick Jones. We hate you, and that's what I feel like the fans have done with this guy. And I felt like they did the same thing with Dan Moore Jr. When Dan Moore Jr., he had to go twice a year for the last couple of years up against Myles Garrett, and he was not horrible. He did not kill us, to quote Mike Tomlin. And I just feel like, what are your expectations with Broderick Jones? What can he do if he gives up one sack that doesn't hurt a guy or cause a fumble? Then you can live with it. But if he gives up one sack and is strong the rest of the game, then it's a good day because you're facing Myles Garrett on the other side. Like when back in the day when you faced Randy Johnson, you knew you were either going to get hit in the face with a ball or you were going to strike out at least once. That's what was going to happen. So with Myles Garrett, surrendering a sack is not unusual for even the best tackles. Yeah. So I agree with everything everybody's saying about Broderick Jones. I'm just wondering if we're labeling him expired milk when he's got a lot of time left.
Brian, here's the deal. When it comes to offensive line, how much do you notice when they do a great job?
Yeah,
not a lot.
Yeah.
How much do you notice when they don't? That's oftentimes for the casual fan, that's the only time that they see them. So therefore, when you talk about players not playing well, notice what happened when Dan Moore Jr. would hit a stretch of playing well. Fans just didn't talk about him. Then he gives up one sack in a game and Dan Moore Jr., blah, blah, blah. It's really about the it doesn't matter how much good they do. And that's why I like when oftentimes someone like Jeremy or someone shares it with our staff, when someone goes through and compiles, here's all of Broderick Jones's pass blocks for this past game. Here's all Troy Fautanu's pass blocking snaps.
On Twitter.
And I do, because when you watch them all together and you're focused just on that person, you realize that there's a whole lot more good that they're doing than the bad plays.
I agree. All right, let's go to the defensive side. Brian, you already gave us a little head start, but I want to give you an opportunity to finish your thought. What do the Steelers have to do on defense?
Don't get cute. Don't leave receivers. Don't let a marginal receiver kill you. That's the thing there. Don't let Gabriel run around because I think if you keep him in the pocket, of course, you're going to smash him. But the number one thing that is going to be the key is keeping that run game at bay. And that run game is named Quinshon Judkins. That guy is tough. He's good. He's for real.
Dave, what do you think?
I think, and Jeff, you could go ahead and write it in for the article for Sunday, that the biggest key for the Steelers defense, I think it's Keanu Benton again, having to do like what he did against the Vikings and held his ground. And I mean, I don't even care if he gets sacks on the pass rush, but you held your ground and kept the linebackers clean from getting pushed into them. That's the strength of this Cleveland Browns offense, is their interior offensive line. So he's got to hold his spot and not get pushed back and let everybody else make plays.
Love to see Cam on the nose a little bit, and then it supplements some YA Black in their big bodies to kind of. I think it comes down to, Bryan said it, Dave said it. If you can stop the run, you're going to be fine. Because if you put because Dylan Gabriel, for those that don't know, is an older rookie. He's older than some players that have had a couple years.
He's a year older than Nick Herbig.
Yeah. So he had 6 years in college. He's one of those guys that got an extra year with the eligibility because of the COVID season and stuff. He's experienced. He's going to be able, and thanks to Kevin Stefanski, who is actually a good offensive mind, if you're in 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 4, 3rd and moderate, we'll call it, he's going to convert a lot of those because it's easy. Everything's open. But if he's in 3rd and 9 or 3rd and worse, that's when the Steelers can pin their ears back, get after them. The Steelers are second in the NFL in takeaways with 10, and that's with one less game than Jacksonville, who leads the NFL with 14. I think if you stop the run, it's a win. It's as simple as I can put it. So, anything else before? Go, Dave.
Yeah, isn't another problem with Dylan Gabriel is he's 5'11", and that's what they list him as? Isn't he like Russell Wilson?
He's a shorter guy. Yeah. He's a shorter guy, yeah.
I mean, Russell Wilson's listed at 5'11" on Pro Football Reference, and so is Dylan Gabriel. So that's one thing to remember, is he's not that tall quarterback that can necessarily see the middle of the field if you get pressure up the middle.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. I have to go back and look at, and the Steelers get their hands up and they knock down a lot of passes. I think they still, I don't know if they do as an overall number, but per game, they should still be leading the NFL in batted passes. Yeah. And they'll get pieces of it. And that was like the Brandon Eccles interception against New England. Mm-hmm. And they'll get a piece of it, like I think it was Deshaun Elliott in Dublin. So that's a good point. I like that. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back after this break, we are going to be talking about the over-under game. We're getting back into that, do our score predictions. We have trivia, bad memories, all that fun stuff. If you're watching live, we're not going anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, Steeler fans, we are back, and it is time for the over-under game. We updated all our numbers last week. I don't feel like we have to do that again, so let's get right into it. Over-under. What's that?
I'm ahead.
I knew he was going to say that. He was dying to say that. You almost killed him, Jeff, by saying we don't need to do the numbers.
No, it's fine. That's because Jeff said last.
Say that.
I'm not in last when it comes to picking the team to win.
I know. I'm in last when it comes to picking the games. But I mean, if we combined the two totals and just did that as an overall, Jeff, you're still in last.
I really don't care. Yeah. I honest to God don't. We have nothing on this. All right, brotherly love. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love you.
See, I knew Bryan knows who brotherly love is.
Too.
All right, we're going with Jaylen Warren. And remember, if for some reason he's not active or any of these players aren't active, then it gets completely scratched. I've got Jaylen Warren rushing and receiving yards combined. I've got the number set at 85.5. Bryan, what do you think?
Under all the way. I don't like this. I don't like this rushing front.
Interesting. Okay, Dave.
I am going over. I think, and honestly, I think he might have more receiving yards than rushing yards, because if he really wants to get Jaylen Warren going in this game, in my opinion, you need to hit him on dump off passes, getting him away from that defensive line to let him have an opportunity to go out there. But even bigger, I was going to say that after Jeff was saying this earlier about the run game. The key is with Jaylen Warren and all this with everything and bringing in the big guys, Get them running forward. Get them running upfield when they are receiving the handoff. That's what I want to see out of this running game. But to me, because you included the receiving yards, I'm going over.
I am too. I'm going to go over, maybe slightly, might be 90, but I think he's going to have some receptions, and we know his yards after the catch is pretty darn good. All right, let's go. Aaron Rodgers touchdown passes, 2.5. Bryan, over or under?
Gosh, if it was 1.5, I'd be going over. I'm looking at 2 for Aaron Rodgers here, and I feel pretty strong about that. So, man, why am I taking the under on this game? Let's go 2 under.
Okay. Dave?
Yeah, I'm going under as well.
I am too. I think he's going to end up with 2. I think if they're going to score in the red zone, it's going to be through the air and probably not on the ground. But then, what the hell do I know? So, all right, let's go to the next one. Pat Freiermuth was not targeted at all last game in week 4. We're not going with targets. We're going with yards receiving. I do think he's going to have some receptions. We've talked about this before. We talked about it last week. A lot of times there's that kind of boomerang effect where with the Steelers where no one gets a target and then they really do want to make it a point to get on the football. I've got Freiermuth yards 25.5. Bryan, what do you think?
I keep getting fooled on this guy. I get this guy wrong every week, but I'm going to continue to say that this is his breakthrough week and say over.
Okay. Dave?
I love it when you set it up and you tell us what it is, and then you give me a good 10 seconds maybe before you say the number, because I come up with the number, my own number in my head. And then I said it all depends on what Jeff says. You know what number I came up with? 23. I'm going under. I think his breakout game comes a week from tonight.
Okay, I'm still going to go over. I think he gets around 30. That's a really low number. My gosh, you just have 3 catches of 10 yards and you're over. So
But how many times has he gone over that this season?
he's only got 65 yards for the whole year, so not many, if at all. So, all right, let's go to the next one. Team rushing yards. So team rushing, again, for those that don't know, Cleveland is the number 1 run defense in the league. They're averaging 75.6 yards per game as a team. That's their defense. I've got the Steelers at 90.5. Bryan, over or under?
I'm going to go under by a hair.
Okay.
I think they can get 90 or so. They're not going over 100.
All right. I, once again, came up with a number in my head, and my number I came up with was 83. So therefore, I'm going to go under, although it would not shock me one bit if they go over here, because all it takes is busting one decent run, and that really adds to getting that total. But I wouldn't be shocked if they don't have a double-digit run the whole game, because that's Cleveland's good against the run. But they will run it enough to get close to that, but I think it'll just be slightly under.
All right, I'm going to go over. Just call it a hunch. Okay, let's go with Steelers sacks. Sacking Dylan Gabriel. Let's go with 3.5. Bryan, over or under?
I'm going under. I think they can get 3. I think with his escapability, I think that's going to be tough. With this running game, I think it's going to be tough.
Okay, Dave?
Yeah, I don't know how many they gave up last week.
I only have their season. They've given up 11 sacks.
They've given up 11 on the season. You know what?
Yeah.
TJ Watt loves to feast on this. And as my brother brought up Tuesday night, this is a left-handed quarterback. So TJ Watt's getting a rush from his typical side to his blind side. Therefore, I'm going over.
Okay. I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under because I think the Steelers might struggle to stop the run.
Man, you guys are trying to catch up, man, by going opposite of me in a lot of stuff. Yeah.
And I think it's a situation where if they can run the ball, and I do think they'll have some success running the football, it's going to set up those 3rd and shorts, and he's going to get the ball out really quick. I think Stefanski's they would have to be losing and we got to throw it to get back into it for the Steelers to go over, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be close, as you'll see my score prediction. But I'm going to go under. Last one, Chris Boswell field goals. I've got the line at 2.5. Bryan, what about you?
I'm actually going over for the first time today. Well, no, I guess I went over with Freiermuth. I'm going over here. I can see 4 field goals on the day for him.
Yikes. Okay. I'm going to go. Dave, sorry. I'm going to skip.
Based on my score, I've got to go over. And let me guess, Jeff's going under.
You got it. Based on my score, I've got to go under. So, All right. Let's do our score prediction. This is interesting. I want to make this very clear to everyone that's watching or listening. the Steelers line started at like 3.5. I saw early in the week. It went to 4.5. And then today it moved to 5.5. Now, when I wrote down my notes for this show and for my Let's Ride podcast that'll debut tomorrow, the total was 37.5. And then between then and now, it's gone to 38.5. This line is moving, folks, and it's moving in weird ways. So the Steelers are getting more points, and the total's going up. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I don't think it's because they traded Joe Flacco or they traded Greg Newsome. Who knows why these things are moving? But I've got the line at 5.5. Steelers giving 5.5 with a total of 38.5.
Okay, so if the line goes up and the spread goes up, there's something in there that they think the Steelers are going to score more points.
Right.
I think it's the trade. I think that's what did it.
Okay.
I'm just putting it out there.
All right, Brian, what's your score prediction?
Final score in this game, Steelers 19, Browns 24. Steelers lose this game. I know I'm shocking everybody. I'm actually shocking myself. And of course, as always, this doesn't mean I'm not a good fan. This means that I'm an apprehensive fan this week because I picked them to win every single game this year. This is the first game. I feel like this is an Akbarian task. And Dave knows what I'm saying there. Jeff has
It's a trap.
It's a trap. And I know we've talked about trap games before, but I think there's a lot of people, national media, a lot of Steeler fans think this is going to be a cakewalk. And if you've ever been to an actual cakewalk, they have them a lot in West Virginia. So I know, Jeff, you've been to cakewalks before. You've had to have, because when I lived there, they had a cakewalk every week. And so cakewalks are hard. And so this is not going to be a cakewalk. If you think it's going to be, I'm actually going with the Steelers losing this game. I'm sorry. I hate myself for saying it, but I'm going to be happy when I'm wrong, because guess what? My wife and daughter tell me I'm wrong all the time.
All right. That's
I don't know. Be ready to get harassed big time. You're never allowed to pick against the Steelers.
Oh, yeah, I know.
No.
All right, Dave, what's your score prediction?
Okay. Well, what's crazy is if you would have asked me this a week ago, I was ready a week ago, flying high off of beating the Vikings, kind of in control of the game for most of it. I'm like, all the Vikings are just going to crush the Browns and everything. I was ready for like a 34-3 score. And then, honestly, if you look at that, the Browns probably should have beat the Vikings. I mean, I talked about it this morning on Pittsburgh Standard Time that with a minute left of the game, it was literally the same situation for the Vikings both weeks in Europe, where they were down 3, needing to get a field goal to tie, go get a touchdown to win. Steelers, they didn't get anything. Browns, they got the touchdown. That's the difference. So for 59 minutes, it was kind of the same kind of boat. So I'm extremely nervous about this game. I really am. I could see so many ways that this could go bad, especially when there's so many other things that line up about it being so good. Coming off of a bye, that massive home regular season winning streak, the bye winning streak, Cleveland coming, not getting the bye after traveling internationally and everything. So needless to say, I'm not ready to go 34-3, but I do still have the Steelers winning this one and having one that I don't have to completely sweat, where I have it 23-13.
I hope you're right. I see this being a really close game. I see it being a really low-scoring game. I think this total is spot on. I have the Steelers winning. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to have the fans feeling great about themselves heading into Thursday Night Football, but I have the Steelers winning with a final score 20-17. So I've got the Browns winning in the spread, getting 5.5, and I've got it just under with that line moving to 38.5. So really, hey, if it's 34-3, Brian, you said that. I hope and pray, or whoever said it. I don't care who said it. I hope and pray it's that. I just don't think it is. I think this is going to be a really tough game. I think the Browns see this as kind of like this is our last shot if we want to make something out of this season, because they're not the Ravens. They don't have the roster of Baltimore to be able to dig out of this hole. So they're going to give them everything they got. I think Dylan Gabriel's going to make some plays, but I think the Steelers make more at the end. There you go.
I'll be honest with you. I see the Browns getting up for their matchup with the Steelers based on circumstances. much more in December than for this one. I think it's going to be tough for them. But then at the same time, when you've got a really good defense, all it takes is one or two little mistakes on offense, and you're in trouble. All it takes is one missed block, your quarterback's knocked out of the game, or has the ball knocked away from him, and you're in trouble. So you can write a script. You can write so many scripts how the Steelers lose this game. So it's not that it's not possible, but this time I'm thinking they're going to get it done.
All right, Bryan. Bad memories. You ready?
No, I'm not. I have to go ahead and throw something out here. And this is for bad memories. I just don't want you to start the clock yet. I miss trivia. So I miss trying to stump you guys or trying to do stuff. So I've decided to add something here. I'm not adding trivia. I'm giving Jeff first an opportunity to guess the game I'm going to pick here. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be spot on.
You think so? All the games against the Browns?
Absolutely.
I think I know. I forget what year it is.
I couldn't tell you the year. The first game that came to mind was a Christmas Eve game where the Steelers blew their doors off. I'll never forget the headline of the Wheeling newspaper that said "Season's beatings."
That was,
I think,
2005, the Super Bowl year, and that was when James Harrison cracked a guy, body slammed a guy. But that was in Cleveland, so this is a Acrisure Stadium game. So we've got to do a home.
Oh, so it's an Acrisure game, or is it?
No.
Game?
It's a home game.
It's a Pittsburgh game.
Pittsburgh game.
I will tell you this.
Can I throw it out there?
Yes.
What year was the playoff game when they were losing to them by a bunch and then came back and won?
2001.
2002 season, actually.
Yeah, it was 2001.
Jeff and I were talking the other day. I think Dave was involved in that. We love the Tommy Maddox year, and yes, this is going to be that Tommy Maddox game. I've got to do it, so you can start. You can start it now.
Go.
All right. So we go back to a season where the Steelers started off, I believe it was 1-3. And then they even had to replace Cordell Stewart with Tommy Maddox. Tommy Maddox almost got paralyzed in this season. This was an 11-5-1 season, but it was not a great year for the Steelers. But if you're a Steelers fan, you absolutely love this game because it was just so fun. And it was in the snow, and you had everything. And the Steelers, Hank Poteet was getting murdered. He was getting 4 passes went his way. They were all touchdowns. Kelly Holcomb could not be stopped. The Steelers were down 17-7, 24-7. They were down 17 at one point. They come back, 54 seconds left in the snow. Fu, a 3-yard touchdown run. It was a thing of beauty. If you get a chance to go watch that game, it is an extravaganza, a cornucopia of greatness.
Okay, I've got questions for you now, Bryan. 2, who is the receiver that carved up the Steelers and Hank Poteet in that game and dropped a critical pass in the fourth quarter, which gave them a chance to come down and tie up the game and eventually take the lead? Do you remember his name?
There was a few. They had good receivers. I'm going to go with Derek Alexander, though.
Was not who I'm thinking of. Dennis Northcutt.
It was Dennis Northcutt.
Now, the Steelers score. Chris Fumatu-Mafala plunges in on the quarterback draw. They go for 2. They convert. How did they do it? And what is the play? Do you remember?
Go ahead, Dave.
Was that a Bettis to Stevens thing or something like that?
It was a gimmick play. It was a gimmick play, but it wasn't Bettis.
I think it was Antoine Randall Elda Ward.
To Jeremy Tooman.
Back of the end
zone.
Not Stevens. Yeah.
He catches it, lands 2 feet in. They're up. They get the 2-point conversion, and that place is rocking. That was the first year of Heinz Field, wasn't it?
No, that was year 2.
Okay.
Okay.
That was the first. Yeah, that was a wild game. I'll never forget that game for the rest of my life.
And we had, I know, time's off the clock.
Yeah.
We used to go to my good friend Tom Regan. He used to host the games at his house. But if he was going to the game, he wouldn't tell you because he wanted everybody to hang out at his house. So he actually went to the game, but didn't let anybody know. And he would always do this. He would even put a pot of chili on, like, hey, there's chili on the stove, and I'm going to the game. And we'd get there. And so one of his buddies, who was a diehard Cleveland fan, called us with 2 minutes left on the clock or whatever, 5 minutes left on the clock, and was taunting the hell out of us. And I just remember just shouting in the phone, "You just screwed your Browns, buddy." But something else that's really funny, I knew a Vikings fan that was good friends with this particular Browns guy, and they went to a game in Three River Stadium. It was the famous Bill Cowher stuff in the picture in the pocket, and they were killed. I mean, the Vikings killed the Steelers, and that was the Super Bowl year in '95. And so this was about the third quarter. The concourse was not like it is now, but it could be bare, especially up top. So he went out to get they both went out to get a beer. The one guy was wearing Vikings head to toe. The other guy, the Browns weren't playing, wearing a Browns hat. It was an older gentleman serving the beer, and he said, "Here you go, sir." Gave him the beer. "I'll serve you." Vikings fan looked at you. "Get out of here. I'm not serving." Because he was wearing a Browns hat. Not even a Browns game. That's just awesome, what this. Yeah. The reason I bring that up, that's what this rivalry means.
Yeah. But that Browns game that you highlighted, the only problem with that is 6 days later, that was the Joe Denny and the Oscar Goes To game.
Yeah.
So
in Nashville, and I'll never forget, Bill Cowher was so pissed that they had to play on Saturday. That when the NFL announced it, I think he said publicly in his press conference, we're essentially getting screwed. We're getting screwed. We played on Sunday. We should be playing on Sunday. They made him play on Saturday on short rest and travel. But anyways, Dave, go ahead, trivia.
And I think, hold on. I think Tennessee had a bye too. That's why he was ticked off.
Yeah, probably. All right, Dave.
All right, trivia. I'm once again going with people that played for both teams.
Dick Shiner. Dick Shiner.
Wait. Whoa. What quarterback played 5 seasons, his first 5 seasons of professional football in both Pittsburgh and Cleveland, 3 in Pittsburgh, 2 in Cleveland, only starting a total of 2 games before going on to have a Hall of Fame career?
Oh, damn, it's not Dick Shiner.
Len Dawson.
That would be Len Dawson. But also, here's another one. Here's quarterback. The Browns just traded a quarterback in division. Do you know that the Browns and Steelers traded quarterbacks at one time? They swapped quarterbacks in the offseason. Jeff, what quarterback went from Cleveland to Pittsburgh?
Dick Shiner.
That would be one Dick Shiner. Do you know who the other quarterback was that went the other direction?
I don't know. He backed up Terry Bradshaw. I know that.
I'm gonna go say.
No, he didn't back up Terry Bradshaw. They traded Dick Shiner when they drafted Terry Bradshaw.
Oh, okay.
They traded him to the Giants.
Okay.
So no, he started for 2 seasons. Well, he didn't start the first year. He didn't start as the starter. Dick Shiner became the starter partway through the season. Started the next season, and then they got Terry Bradshaw and bye, Mr. Shiner.
I've got two for you.
What?
Either Kent Nix or Bill Nelson. They were all.
It was Bill Nelson. That's who went from the Steelers to the Browns. Now, one last question, because now we got to have some fun. This is a player that I really like. So let's see if you could name this player. This player was a 6th-round draft pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers after playing 4 seasons in Pittsburgh.
Oh, I know.
Where he made the game and made the team primarily as a special teams player early on, then went on to play 8 seasons in Cleveland, only to come back to be on the Steelers team, was only active for 6 games, but did end up winning a Super Bowl with the Steelers to end his career.
This is not who I was thinking then. Brian, who do you think?
No, it's not who I was thinking too, because I was going to Earl Holmes just like you were.
I was going Chris Hubbard. Didn't Chris Hubbard play for Cleveland?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, but no, that was past the Super Bowl window.
Well, but no, once he said Super Bowl, I was like, well, Chris Hubbard never came back.
So that was someone that the Steelers' 6th-round draft pick, the final season in Pittsburgh, he started all 16 games, which then led him to a nice 8-year career in Cleveland, only to come back to the Steelers. I'll give you another hint. His special teams position doesn't exist anymore because at the time it was known as Wedge Buster.
What?
Oh my goodness.
I don't.
My friends in college, because of his rookie contract when he was with the Steelers, actually used his name as a past participle. When we saw other people getting crushed. And the answer was, you just got Orpheus.
Orpheus Roy.
Never would have
Orpheus
got
Roy.
that. Never would have got that.
You don't remember Orpheus Roy?
I was young. I remember it
Yeah.
vaguely, but not as
We
well
had a
as
guy that used to be with our network that would wear an Orpheus Roy jersey on shows.
Yeah, I really
a
liked
doll.
Orpheus Roy. Didn't like seeing him go to Cleveland. I mean, had a decent career in Cleveland. He really did.
He wore 71 his first time in Pittsburgh and 96 his second go around. Wow.
That's correct.
I forgot about
And
that.
what number was he in Cleveland?
Don't care.
Yeah, I don't either. But it was 99. But yeah, Orpheus Roy out of Florida State.
All right. Is that all the trivia?
Yep.
Love it. Love it. All right, Brian, let's do some final thoughts.
All right, so this is a game that I picked the Pittsburgh Steelers to lose, and what do I matter? You know, it's just go with your gut when you make these calls, and that's what I'm doing. But I'm going to sit down expecting to be surprised and hoping to be surprised, and if I'm surprised, then it's going to be a good thing. But am I going to be really surprised? Because when I look at this team, I just think, I talked about this earlier on in the show, fellas, and I said that last stretch of the season that was so murderous, I don't think they lose their final 4 games with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. I really don't. I know Aaron Rodgers wasn't on that team last year. I don't think Russell Wilson was right for this team, nor did I think Justin Fields was. But I think Aaron Rodgers is a new man being in Pittsburgh. He seems like a younger version, a 30-year, still in his 30s version of himself, but he's a winner, and winners thrive in these kind of games. We want to get back to the point where they win games by 20-some points, and I could see that happening. It's just, you stop that run, you will be able to do many things, and you have that opportunity to do so. So I'm going to sit down with a smile on my face, a Steeler jersey on. It will be a home jersey. I'm not sure which one as of yet. Alls I know that this is going to be a special day because we're back. I hate the bye. I don't care how much they need it. I feel like I lost a puppy when they don't play. And it just, there's an empty chasm in my soul when that happens. So Pittsburgh Steelers are back. Who cares what I say is going to happen? Because, like I said, I'm wrong all the time, and I'm still happy because I'm just wrong at this point because I'm the male in the house. There you go.
Okay. All right, Dave. Final thoughts.
Well, in case you all don't know, I'm pretty sure Bryan does have a separate room for his Steelers jerseys. That's why he has to decide which one he's going to wear. But first of all, I also want to give a shout out to my old college buddies, TD and Sherm. They were the ones who would always say, "Man, he just got Orpheus." So that was a really nice memory that I got to think about some today. Yeah, I kind of already said a lot of the stuff that I wanted to say for my final thoughts here, and that is, there's just so many different ways where things could go wrong for the Steelers, so many different ways where things could go right for the Steelers. And we've only got a 4-game sample to really know what this team really is right now. Most of the time when we're dealing with a team coming off the bye, we have a better idea of what our Pittsburgh Steelers are. We don't have a lot of data points. I mean, 4 is just, to me, is barely enough to know what's going on with this team. And as I said before, just because the rest of the division is bad doesn't automatically make the Steelers good just because they're 3-1. Now you have to go out there and show that you are the team in the division. And the only way you're going to do that this week is if you go out and have a decisive victory over these Cleveland Browns. I would love to see it, but honestly, I don't even care if it's a 1-point victory at the end as the game expires, as long as they walk away with the W and have things that they could work on to get better as the season goes on.
Great stuff, guys. Thank you for your time. I want everyone to know that SteelCurtainNetwork.com is alive and well. It is looking great. Community's growing. It's getting a lot of attention. We thank you all for that. If you haven't checked us out, go to SteelCurtainNetwork.com. It is completely free. And make sure you check us out on any social media platform, including YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just by searching Steel Curtain Network, you'll find us. Give us a follow. We appreciate it. We won't let you down. But that does it for us on another Steelers preview. Dave, why don't you send us out?
Hey.
We'll see you next week, some point, for the Thursday night game. Take it easy.
Steel Curtain Network. Get it.
Everybody else gets a little tight.